At some point in the last year, you've probably typed something into ChatGPT or Gemini that went something like this. I recommend me a business coach for online course creators, or a consultant or an expert in your specific niche. And if it came back with names, maybe a few well-known ones, maybe a generic list. Maybe it said it couldn't make specific recommendations. What it almost certainly didn't come back with was you. And if you're anything like the coaches and consultants I talk to, that moment landed with a slight thud. Because you've been building your online presence for years. You have a website, you have content, you have clients. You've done everything you were supposed to do. So why doesn't AI know who you are? I'm going to tell you, and I promise the answer is not what you think. My name is Alex, and I'm the founder of StructuredAF. And I've spent 30 years in software. I built this platform specifically because I kept watching brilliant, established online business owners just like you become invisible to the AI tools their clients are already using to find help. And the reason it kept happening had nothing to do with their content, their credibility, or their effort. It had everything to do with one specific thing that almost nobody is talking about. Here's the assumption most people are operating under right now. If I create good content, show up consistently, do my SEO and build my presence online, AI will eventually find me and recommend me. It's a reasonable assumption. It worked for Google. You created content, Google crawled it, you ranked, people found you. The logic seems like it should transfer. It doesn't. Here's why. Google is a search engine. Its job is to match keywords to pages. So you optimize your page for keywords. Google searches your page. You optimize your page for keywords. Google surfaces your page when someone searches those keywords. The relationship makes sense. AI search works completely differently. When someone asks ChatGPT or Gemini to recommend a coach or consultant, those tools aren't searching for pages. They're querying something called a knowledge graph, a structured map of entities, their attributes and their relationships. An entity is a thing that exists in the world with verifiable, structured properties: a business, a person, a service, a credential. When AI answers a recommendation query, it's looking for entities it can confidently describe and verify. Entities that have structured, machine-readable information attached to them. Your blog posts, your Instagram content, your beautifully written about page, those are not structured entity data. They're prose. AI can read prose, but prose and structured entity data are not the same thing, and AI treats them very differently when it comes to recommendation. So here is the real reason AI isn't recommending you. Not because you haven't published enough, not because your SEO is bad, and not because you're not on the right platforms. Not because you haven't asked ChatGPT nicely, but because your business doesn't exist as a structured entity that AI can read, verify, and confidently surface in response to a recommendation query. Let me make that concrete. When AI is deciding whether to recommend someone or not, it's looking for structured signals. Things like, what does this person specialise in exactly? Who do they help specifically? What credentials or indicators of authority do they have? What services do they offer, and which outcomes do those services deliver? Is there consistent, verifiable, structured information about this business across the web? If that information exists in a structured, machine-readable format on your website, AI can pick it up, verify it, and include you in its recommendations, confidently, by name, and with context. If it doesn't exist in that format, if the only description of your business is your sales page copy and your about page and your social media bio, AI has very little to go on. It can't confidently surface you, so it doesn't. This is not a content problem, it is a data format problem. And that distinction matters, because if it's a content problem, the answer is to create more content. post more, publish more, add more to an already overwhelming to-do list. But if it's a data format problem, the fix is structural. You do it once, you do it properly, and then it works in the background while you get on with everything else. I want to be straight with you about why this matters right now rather than in a year or two. AI platforms are actively building their knowledge of who the credible experts are in every niche. They're doing it right now based on the structured data that currently exists. The businesses and people who have that infrastructure in place today are the ones getting woven into AI's understanding of their field. And that doesn't mean it's too late if you're starting now. It's not. But it does mean that every month you're operating without structured entity data is a month your competitors who do have it are building on that compounding advantage. AI recommendations work a lot like referrals. Once AI knows who you are and what you do and who you help, it keeps on mentioning you. It builds upon itself. And so the earlier you get into that loop, the stronger your position becomes over time. In the next video, I'm going to show you exactly what this looks like in practice. Not explain it, show you, including a live example of what happens when AI is asked about a business that has structured entity data in place, and what comes back is not a vague description or a generic list, but a rich and accurate detailed picture of that business. And if you want to get a head start before watching it, I've put together a free resource called Put Your Freebie on AI's Radar that generates structured data for one of your services in just a couple of minutes, and you don't need any technical knowledge to implement this. The link is in the description. You can find the link at structuredaf.com/free. All right, I'll see you in the next one.